Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So Yobal asked about testing out Echoing Shade in PvP. So I'm going to try it out in Battleground as well as Conqueror and see if it actually works or if it's worth having equipped. Let's go.
So firstly, taking a look at Echoing Shade, your attacks have a 15% chance to summon a shadow clone for 12 seconds that attacks nearby enemies with one of your primary attacks, and you can have up to 2 shadow clones at once. So these shadow clones literally just use primary attack. They can also trigger the effects from other legendary gems. So previously when I was testing Starfire Shard, my shadow clones were actually triggering that with the primary attacks. I don't normally use Echoing Shade anymore for anything other than Trial of the Hordes, because it's quite useful to have extra versions of yourself in Trial of the Hordes, and also in that kind of situation the mobs generally will attack your shadow clones rather than yourself. However, in other PvP like this, when you are actually fighting face to face with other people, I find that the clones are kind of too weak. So generally they die quicker than I do. I mean, I went down really easily there because I was hit by more than one player. But yeah, I'll just let you watch and see how often these shadow clones trigger, how often they appear, and how quickly they go down. Can we also just take a moment to appreciate how annoying it is when you try and bandage like I just did and it doesn't work because you've got something like Viper's Bite or Seeping Bile happening, and then you have to wait for the bandage all over again. So I literally gained no more health, and the Sacred Guardian has now been activated and need to head there, but I literally have no life. So this is going to be fun. Well, we all kind of saw that coming, so I'm not surprised that I died there, but my damage over time effects did take down one of the other players, so I guess I can't really moan too much about the bandage thing. Here, my shadow clone spawned literally for a millisecond, but the minute that more of the deep popped from one of the enemy players, it actually took out my shadow clone. So they don't really have that much strength to them, which is why in PvP they're not necessarily the best. As I said, great in something like Trial of the Hordes, because the mobs will attack them and not you. But in this kind of situation, then it's not really the strongest gem. Yes, if you rank it up, you'll have that resonance from it. However, it's better, I would say, to go with legendary gems that are going to be really strong in PvP. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't really have much hope for Echoing Shade in Conqueror or any kind of PvP other than Trial of the Hordes, like I already mentioned, because this gem I did used to use in PvP. I just swapped it out when I got a gem that was stronger. So the only reason I previously used it in PvP was just for the resonance gain. Now, if you are looking for resonance, then yeah, it is great to use. But if you want something that's actually going to give you that strength in PvP, I would definitely recommend going for a different gem, because Echoing Shade is just not it. Now, we lost this match, and this was one of 5 matches that I tested with Echoing Shade active, and I lost all of them. I was top for kills here and had quite a good score, but yeah, overall it was still a defeat and not the best match that we had. So I'm now going to go ahead and try this out in a Battleground match, and we'll see if we can do any better. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but often when I enter Battleground, I have to bandage because I'm not at full health, but there's that fun little bug for you. If you see your name in this battle, as always, comment and say hi to me. One of my friends was actually on my team, so Freddy Krueger here is one of my friends from another clan. So I was hoping that this was going to be a better result using Echoing Shade, but also I was hoping not to let my teammates down. Because as I said, I swapped this out for Seeping Bile, and you know that the damage over time effects are really strong in PvP, which is why I go for Seeping Bile as well as Viper's Bite, and then use Angmets alongside that as well, because that gives me 3 damage over time effects, and they're all really powerful, especially combined. So let's test this out here, see if we get a different result, and yeah, see how quickly my clones spawn and how quickly they die. One thing to quickly mention is that the build here that I'm using is the exact same as the one that I posted in my PvP Melee Wiz video a little while ago. The only difference is that I swapped out the Alora's Fervor chest for Sprite Spark, as Sprite Spark gives a continual damage effect, which works really nicely with the Ephemeral Visage Helm, which also increases the attack speed as well as the damage that you deal from continual damage effects. Now I'm just attempting here to get my shadow clones to pop because I feel like I'm going insane, and oh, there we have one. I don't feel like I've seen them yet, and I've been kind of spamming my attacks, so I wanted to try and get one to spawn, but it's already disappeared and timed out, so it wasn't really worth it. They don't seem to last as long as it says it should. They should be lasting 12 seconds, but that doesn't seem to be happening. We'll see if they pop again and if they cause any damage onto the enemies. So both of my shadow clones spawned here, but it was after I'd already killed that player, and that was no use whatsoever. And they also both timed out really quickly. So I swear to God, when we read that description, it said they last 12 seconds, and that was not 12 seconds that they lasted just then. They literally just disappeared within like 5 seconds maybe. So I wouldn't really say for me that this gem is worth it in PvP. If you're someone that just wants it to gain more resonance, then yeah, go for it. But you're not going to get any benefit from this like you can with other gems. I will probably only continue using this and keep it for Trial of the Hordes, as I mentioned. But for any other PvP, not for me. Now, I was trying to get away and bandage here, but I didn't pay attention to the minimap and got taken down by that demon hunter. Yeah, that was kind of something that I just walked into totally. But let's see how the rest of this battle goes. I don't have much hope for my ranking in this match. Normally with my Seeping Bile equipped, I'm in like the top 3 on my team for kills. But this, I don't feel like I'm as strong using Echoing Shade because I'm down 1 of those damage over time effects, and also it's just not as strong of a gem as the Seeping Bile. And I've died again there. I was doing really well with surviving for the first few minutes of the match, and now it's just kind of all gone downhill. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but the clones definitely don't seem to spawn very often. So obviously it's only 15% chance that they'll spawn, and that's quite low for a gem really. Like 15% isn't that great of a chance. And like I said, when they do spawn, they don't seem to last very long, or they die really easily. So for me, Echoing Shade is okay in PvP, especially if you're doing things like farming, or if you're doing stuff like castle defense, because the mobs generally will gravitate towards them and attack them instead of you. However, in PvP, it's just not a very strong gem. I was hoping to get a better result in this Battleground match. Obviously, it looks like we're going to win the battle because we're now heading to destroy the Ancient Heart. And I always like to sneak around one of these routes. I know it's a bit longer to get there. However, you find that it's more direct to actually get straight to the heart, because generally they will block the straight passage. So it was a win for our team. But Echoing Shade for me just is not strong enough in PvP. So this is the overall result for it. So I still did rank 3rd, but I didn't get any badges for this match. So that's a bit disappointing. And I died 3 times, which I was really disappointed at. So as I mentioned, for me, Echoing Shade really isn't worth it. It's just not strong enough in PvP. In PvE, it works quite well, as I said, in things like castle defense or situations where you want mobs to go to something else and not you. However, their life is not very long and they don't last very long enough. They're not very strong. So for me, it's a no. Echoing Shade is no good for PvP. But I wanted to test it out and show you in video as well, so that you can see my findings. And for now, that is it from me. I hope you found this video helpful, and as always, thanks for watching and have a great day.